And he was so successful that we just kind of kept bringing him back as almost a permanent part of the show. He was doing balloon things and trick things, and he was fun to throw pies at because he looked so silly when he get hit with a pie.
Ah, pie throwing, the staple of the show. Everyone got hit in the face with a pie, though some more than others.
And for some reason or other, they felt it was funnier when Professor Fun got a pie in the face than when the other ones did.
We were into a lot of pie throwing in that show. When in doubt, get some pies and throw them. That was our motto. And we were in doubt a lot. Pie throwing became a big favorite, except for probably Mr. Checkers, because he received, I would say, a good 90% of the pies thrown were at him.
Fred Ball left the show in the mid-70s, but to many who watched, Professor Fun became synonymous with Checkers and Pogo.
I love Hawaii. I love Hawaii. I love the people. I love the cultures, the ambiance, everything about Hawaii. And I just loved it. I knew when I first came here, this is my spiritual home. I'm meant to be here.
Yeah. Sorry, I just couldn't resist those goodie bags on the show. The Checkers and Pogo show also featured a now fondly remembered segment that took us to all sorts of places and taught us how things were done. When we come back, we'll rediscover the enlightening stories of On the Go, and we'll meet Graham Driscoll, the man attacked by the hippo in the most memorable On the Go episode.
One good thing about Checkers and Pogo was that they were actually from Hawaii, because you saw a lot of television shows as a kid, you know, shows that were produced on the mainland. But this show was actually produced here in Hawaii, and we could relate to that because we were from Hawaii.
How many sky slides were there? The answer coming up right after this break.
I always wanted to go on the sky slide. I drive by the old Gibsons and watch those kids coming down the slide, and I wish I could pull over and join them, but I never did. And that's one of the things that I wish I had done and I miss about Checkers and Pogo. It's the sky slide.
How many sky slides were there? 2. One was known as the Gibson Sky Slide in Mapunapuna, and the other was in Waipahu.
The Checkers and Pogo show was at times much more than just entertainment. It was also educational. In the mid-1970s, producers like Phil Arnone and Joe Lowenhart got together to create a series of unforgettable segments called On the Go.
Checkers and Pogo, On the Go.
Who could forget those incredible segments that taught us how bread was made?
Next, it drops into its very own private loaf pan.
Let's get on with it, Pogue. I got the peanut butter and jelly already.
Oh, pretty soon, Mr. Checkers, pretty soon.
How the newspaper got printed.
Today's paper is about 60 pages long, and in just 12 minutes from now, those presses will have printed 20,000 newspapers.
Or how an ukulele was made. It also gave us a rare glimpse inside the Makapu'u Lighthouse, taught us about fine art.
Pogue, we're going to take a musical look at some fine paintings created by fine artists.
Oh, that's wonderful, Mr. Checkers, and I'm going to help.
How are you going to help?
Well, just watch.
Oh, what a land I see before me.
And always took us to the zoo.
The Honolulu Zoo. That's the home of many strange and wonderful animals. And today we're going to visit one of its loveliest inhabitants, the peacock.
Arguably the most memorable On the Go was the hippo episode. Producer Phil Arnone and photographer Graham Driscoll were at the Honolulu Zoo filming the brand new baby hippo and its mother.
Hippopotamus.
Yeah, and there's a baby hippopotamus, one of those too.
Yes, Pogue.
Everything seemed to be going as planned, but then for some reason, photographer Graham Driscoll was having trouble getting shots of the baby.
And we were trying to get it so the mother hippo wasn't hiding the baby from the view of the camera. So
So I got the okay to actually climb over the fence and get in the pen, which was probably a stupid thing to do, looking back. And so I got over and set the camera up and was pointing it at the hippo and doing various shots of it, close-ups, and trying to see the baby, but we still couldn't really see the baby very well. So Phil Arnone had the bright idea at that point. He thought, well, somehow we could make the hippo move a little bit. So they have this big hose in the pen, which they hose all the, you know, dirt and stuff down with. So he got that and he turned that on and pointed at the hippo. And the hippo kind of looked up and looked around to see what was happening. And as I was the only one who was actually inside the pen, it figured it must be my fault. So it took this great lumbering run towards me.
Wow, look out, Graham. Holy Toledo, look at, hey, she knocked over the camera.
Right.
Great.
Here, we'll show it to you again in slow motion.
Oh, boy, Mr. Checkers. That just proves you shouldn't be on that side of the fence, doesn't it, huh?
That's right, Pogue. She was just protecting her young.
Holy, that was a really close call.
She came charging right out of the water pool and attacked right at the camera. I, of course, as the leader of the group, immediately said, stay where you are, I'll be running back here to safety.
I leapt over the top of the chain link fence, which was like 6'6", you know. It seemed that I just vaulted over it, and when I landed on my elbow and broke my elbow. And one of the real funny things was when I went to the hospital, to the emergency room, to have my elbow dealt with, and when I went in, they asked you how this happened, because it was a workman's compensation claim. And I said, oh, I got charged by a hippo. And the guy said, yeah, right.
And there's Graham now. Yeah, he was in such a hurry to get away from that hippo, he fell over the fence and broke his arm.
And after that, it's funny, I got recognized by lots of kids, you know, when I was shopping at Alamoana and that. They said, hey, you're the guy who got knocked over by a hippo. Yeah, that was me, yeah.
Wow, what memories. Well, by now the show was rolling into the mid-70s, and new supporting characters were beginning to show up. When we return, we'll meet the people behind Jake the Janitor and Sneed the Monster.
I remember the pie eating contest. I was in the pie eating contest, and I remember after the segment was over, they came and put everybody's pie in a box, but they didn't put mine in a box. I wondered why they didn't put mine in a box. And they said, you eat all your pie, you have no pie left. So I started to cry. And then after that, they gave me a new pie so I could take one home.
What was Friday known as? The answer when we return.
Being from Kona, from the Big Island, you know, being on Checkers and Pogo, I was on 3 times now, really big thing. I remember that somebody getting hit by a pie in the face was, for some reason to me, the most hysterical thing that could happen. I used to get off of school, hopefully early, get home early, just to watch Checkers and Pogo.
What was Friday known as? Pie Day. Every Friday, a child was selected from the audience to pie a cast member in the face.
In 1977, the producers had left the Albatross behind, and now Checkers and Pogo were in a treehouse. By the following year, Jerry Cox was no longer with the show. Noticing an obvious void, KGMB producer and director Rob Hearn jumped at the chance.
He left, and it left the show without any other characters, and I was around, and I said, hey, give me a shot. Let me play some of the characters on that show, and I made up 3 characters. Based a couple of them on other characters that I'd seen, and we went to town. It was fun. It was a lot of fun.
One of the characters that Rob played was a bumbling fix-it man named Jake the Janitor. Jake was called upon to fix things around the treehouse, but they never worked.
Where do you start?
Okay. I remember Jim Demarest. He was a good guy.
The only problem he had was he had a very bad back, as I remembered. It was tough for him to get around. And I'd write bits where he had to get down on his hands and knees and crawl around and stuff.
Right. Down on my hands and knees. I'm down on my hands and knees.
Okay, it says crawl straight forward for 5 steps.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay.
Okay, that's good. Now it says stand up.
Stand up. I could have walked over here at that rate.
Okay, it's all in the instructions here. You have to follow the instructions.
Read. It's a treasure.
Take a left face.
Left face.
Okay, and it says here, now you're facing somebody, ask him where the treasure is.
But that's you.
Oh, yeah, I know where the treasure is.
Well, where is it?
It's in the tree over there.
Oh,
now, wait a minute, there's a secret word.
Well, wait a minute, Jake. If there's a treasure in this house, you know, it belongs to me.
Well,
because this is my
property.
property.
Map.
Well, we got to come to some kind of an agreement, Jake. We can't just, you know.
I'll tell you what.
Yeah?
I'll tell you the secret word to get the treasure if you'll give me $10.
$10?
Yep. It's going to cost you $10 to get the secret word.
Well, it's a treasure, Jake.
Yeah, it's a
That's
treasure.
my last $10, Jake. It better be good.
Okay, now the secret word
Yeah.
is boysenberry. You go up to the tree and you say boysenberry. Go ahead and find it. See what it is.
Boysenberry!
If Jake looks familiar, that's because Rob still plays a version of the character to this day.
Jake the janitor played on Checkers and Pogo. Then a couple of years later, he evolved into Henry the janitor in the Fun Factory commercials. And I've been shooting those ever since. We've done 19 years of Fun Factory commercials, and we've made 110 to date. And we're still shooting them. And I got to keep my hair long. I can't get a normal haircut. And it's because of Checkers and Pogo.
Hey, here's Granny now. Oh, easy, Gran.
I played a character called Granny Garbanzo. I had a mustache at the time, so I dressed up as a woman and I had a mustache, and all the kids obviously could see right through it.
The witch jumped out from behind a tree, grabbed Tommy by the nose with a pair of pliers, and dragged him into a pit full of spiders. Oh! Oh, I scared myself. Oh! I think Granny's gonna be ill.
I also played a clown called John the Clown who wasn't funny, and this character was based directly on a character from the Wallace and Ladmo kiddie show out of Phoenix, Arizona.
Hi there, John the Clown.
All right, I'm here.
Careful here, hang on to that. Here we go. Give me the ball. Here we go.
All right, there's the trick. Where's my present?
The program was now in its 11th year and was beginning to show signs of age. By 1979, Jim Demarest hung up his hat as Mr. Checkers, and Pogo was left to carry on. So, rising local entertainers like Freddie Morris, who had first performed on the show as a kid, was now being called back to lend his talents.
Good. Mr. Checkers has been gone for quite a while. You didn't know he'd left.
I did not know that.
No, but we still got Narc Booby, and we still got a hand here.
You got the Narc Boogie?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah? I think Archie would like to see them, because it's been a while since he's
You
seen
like Narc Booby, Art?
Yeah.
A wooden head like you, like a termite?
Okay, watch it. They're my friends.
All right, let's see.
Another addition was a woman named Lorena Jones, who had watched the show as a child. Back when she was in the 6th grade, Lorena dreamed of being one of the many kids to get on the show. But wouldn't you know it, there was a huge waiting list.
You know, I kept sending my name in and sending my brother's name in, and nobody made it on the show. So I got too old to be on the show, and I was really, really bummed. And as time went on, I kind of dismissed it and decided, well, never going to be on the show.
As an adult, Lorena performed as a clown. One year, her daughter entered and won a Checkers and Pogo poster contest. To claim her daughter's prize, she went to the drugstore run by Red, the friendly pharmacist. Oddly enough, she was dressed in a clown outfit. Why? Well, she was on her way to an event where she'd be performing. Red asked her if she'd like to be a character on the show. Excited and overwhelmed, Lorena said yes and dug through an old box and found a costume that she had used a few years earlier.
My character was the Sneed, And he was a recycled creature that was originally designed as a Halloween costume.
Sneed! What are you doing? You don't like popcorn.
I don't?
No, you don't. Yeah, go spit it out. You like garbage instead.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Wait, let me see. Ow. That tastes like garbage.
Yeah, go get garbage.
We labeled him as about 3 years old, so he was still having teething problems since he didn't have any teeth at all. And he would chase garbage truck tires, and we needed to give him a place to live because we were in a tree house. We decided to put him in the sandbox at the bottom of the tree house, and because that's where the trash cans were. Sneed was always into the trash and stuff.
By the end of 1979, the show was significantly downsized. A sign of the times, Checkers and Pogo were slowly fading away. Up next, the final years of this program, and we'll explore the impact this great local television show had on the thousands of kids throughout the islands.
Okay, man, you know what I remember most about the Checkers and Pogo was that I got off of school at 2:30. Checkers and Pogo would start at 3 o'clock, and just to see my face on TV. But you know, all the kids, they all did this, or they did this. Me, I would do this. And you know, if it's still now, I still can do it. Look. Checkers and Pogo show, man.
How many Checkermobiles were there? We'll have the answer for you next.
I wish they had that kind of kid activities for my kid now so he could enjoy what I enjoyed as a kid.
How many Checkermobiles were there? 3. The first was a Lincoln Continental, the second a Ford Galaxy, and the third was a Chevy Impala.
Well, the 80s had arrived, and the Checkers and Pogo show, now with Pogo as its sole host, was slowly but surely fading away. It was cut down to a half hour in the afternoon, and a week's worth of shows were taped in a single day.
Jim went to do other things, and they just kind of kept me on there as to kind of warm the studio every once in a while.
The year was now 1982, and after 15 years of being on the air, the Checkers and Pogo show was canceled.
Because it had been on a long time, and perhaps we were getting a little tired. And so the time came when it was time to close the doors and say aloha and go on to other things.
In August of 1982, a local shopping center planned a promotional event in which Pogo Pogue would make his final public appearance.
Ward Warehouse was having a big promotion, so they decided they'd have Checkers and Pogo if they could find Checkers, because Pogo was alone, and they would kind of make it a farewell party for Pogo Pogue. So we had a good party there, and a lot of people, a lot of kids came, and then all of a sudden here came Mr. Checkers all dressed up, and we were throwing pies at each other and having a good time.
Oh, God! Here comes Checkers, here comes Checkers, Checkers and Pogo Pogue.
Morgan White, better known as Pogo Pogue, brought smiles to the faces of youngsters. Today he was at Ward Warehouse for his last public appearance in Hawaii before moving to the mainland. In the audience today were lots of youngsters, many of whom didn't know Pogo, but their parents did, because years ago they spent hours in front of the television watching the antics of Checkers and Pogo.
Oh, hi. You want to know what my Saturday special is that I eat every Saturday when I watch these cartoons? Well, that's my favorite. It's scrambled popcorn and ice cubes with Tutti Frutti flavored camel's knuckles. Boy, are they good.
And what would Pogo's final appearance be without his trademark?
And we'd like to give you something really, really big. Okay.
After the show, a thoughtful Morgan White talked about his final appearance.
Could. It's a mixed emotion. You know, how do you draw a curtain on 14 years of love and fun? It's difficult, but I feel that it's time to make another move and get back to my family, which is on the mainland, so it's a very difficult thing for me to do.
And before leaving, Pogo had one final thought for his fans, especially the young ones.
I want to express my love to you, and I will be thinking about you every day
for the rest of my life, and I'll have a warm feeling right down here because of you. You've made an old man very, very happy.
And with that, Checkers and Pogo sailed off into Hawaii's history.
I think it was just an afternoon to laugh, to, watch cartoons, to escape, to try to, and that was what I wanted to do visually as well as with music and the characters.
The kids, I would say, probably went from 2 or 3 to 43, because I think we had a lot of adults there. And I kind of think we may have made impressions on each of those age groups.
I took to the kids and I really enjoyed it.
I deeply miss the kids, the keikis of Hawaii. In fact, I've had people tell me before I left the islands about how much they enjoyed having a hero. Santa Claus could be down the street, and if Checkers and Pogo showed up, we outdrew Santa Claus 55-1.
I was real pleased to be a part of it. It was an exciting time in television, an exciting time for me, for all of us on there, to learn about doing live television.
Not a day goes by but what somebody recognizes me on the street or in their business or in their home or something and says how much they love the Checkers and Pogo show and how, boy, those were the good old days. And they try to explain to their children all about what the Checkers and Pogo show was all about and how much they loved it.
People have always talked about Checkers and Pogo because for a lot of us, it's part of our childhood, it's part of growing up.
If people can, even at this late date, identify with some affection